start the actual music. Hello and welcome to the Fools on Stools podcast. My name is Kevin Walker, and as always, I'm joined by my co-stars Anthony Council and Cullen Brown. Today is a jam-packed Wild Wednesday. It is March 23rd, 2022. We all hope you're having a wonderful day today. Thank you so much for being fools with us on this journey. If you have a great time and don't mind, please do post us, share us, or tell others about us. If you don't like what you hear, then simply tell no one. Now, today is National Chips and Dip Day. So, Cullen, Anthony, before we get into a little top 5 list that I got, what are y'all's personal favorite chips and dip combo?
Is nothing sacred anymore?
You hear what he just said?
I know. He said it in front of me.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you hear what he just said? He has a list.
And he's doing it before my list, too.
Premature list. It's okay.
It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't.
Like, I wouldn't do a start bench cut. I wouldn't do a this or that. But,
right.
I mean, I guess, the list is free game, apparently.
Okay.
man.
All right. No one's putting any trademarks or copyrights on lists, okay? Can you just tell me your favorite dips and chips?
Dips and chips.
Dips and chips.
Chips and dip.
Chips and dip. Go-to chips. I love me some tortilla chips and some good salsa. I know it's basic.
That is
I know it's
the
classic.
most basic, but
If
classic
you
thing
get
in the
good,
world.
Listen,
if you get good
hey.
salsa, it don't matter.
It depends on the salsa.
No, that's what I'm saying. But it's got to be freshly made
My
salsa.
mom's salsa hits.
I'm guessing the salsa that you eat specifically, Cullen, is the salsa that your mom makes.
Believe it or
isn't
not, she does make salsa, but the salsa that we mainly eat is just from any one of our Mexican places that we go to. So
Yeah, big shout out to his mom for sure, because I've heard so much about the food. I'm still waiting for.
Still waiting for our plates, but
Yep.
it's no big deal. Whatever.
Yeah,
We feel included.
how about you compliment your own mom's cooking?
I just
For
did.
once,
I
'cause I'm
said-
always doing it.
I said at the beginning.
know?
I said my mom's salsa is tier one.
I just feel like I'm a better son than you guys when I'm bragging about my mom's cooking.
I mean, hey, I love my mom's cooking. Macaroni
All right.
and chicken strip. No, I'm kidding.
What's your go-to chips and salsa, Anthony?
My go-to chips and dip
Chips and
is,
dip.
Yeah, it's not chips and salsa.
Oh,
yeah.
Go
bro.
ahead.
This guy.
This guy.
Anyway,
Because it's the only answer. But go ahead.
I mean, hey, I think it's because we did a list. That's why he's driven. Anyway, spinach dip and just
You're a spinach dip guy.
I am a
You know
spinach
what?
dip guy.
Spinach dip is amazing.
It is.
But
All
that's
right.
like your go-to.
That's my go-to.
If you see it at a restaurant, you are getting it.
Oh, yeah.
Before
I
anything
love
else.
spinach
yeah.
dip. It's good. Spinach and artichoke dip is
Really?
good too.
Okay, Kevin.
So before I get into this little list that I have here, my personal favorite, like I said, my mom makes really good salsa, so I'm gonna go with her salsa. But we always get lime, hint of lime tortilla chips, and that does it for me. So
Didn't you say something about lime in one other podcast? Remember we talked about lime?
Yeah. He said,
me and my family have a lime fascination
So-
with the popcorn.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
the popcorn. Yes.
Yeah. That was
So-
actually pretty good. I tried it, actually.
You did?
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Not
See?
gonna lie.
See?
I need to bring a lime with me to work.
So according
Yeah, we're
to
gonna popcorn
Yeah.
shop.
There you go.
So according to thekitchen.com, with no I in between the H and the N, the number one of the chips and dip combos is just a simple potato chips and onion dip. I don't know how many people are fans of the onion dip.
It's all right. It's not bad.
Yeah, I much prefer a sour cream if I'm going with potato chips.
Yeah.
Well, you can also go ahead and go with number 2, which is tortilla chips and guacamole, which guacamole is my
Guacamole.
second favorite.
Yeah.
My brother, shout out to my brother. If you are listening to this, I hope you are.
You better be.
biggest guacamole fan on the planet.
Really?
See, that's good.
Biggest guacamole fan.
stuff.
He will personally make his own guac and then eat it with his own hands. after
Dude,
making- He loves guacamole.
I can eat a bowl of guacamole. It's kind of scary. Like a big bowl that your mom or
No, listen.
whoever makes for the family.
Yeah.
Once everybody gets their dips in, I'm like, hey, this is fair game.
This is all mine.
That's
right?
one thing though. My brother takes the cake on in our family. Is guacamole.
He doesn't take.
So
the
does
cake.
he make
takes the
it?
guac.
He takes the guac.
So he makes it and eats it.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah.
that's good.
Whoa, hold on.
At least he's not like just eating it.
So
least
your
he knows how to make
mom
it.
cooks and your brother makes his own guac.
So you're the only.
Oh no, I can't cook.
So you're the. So
I
you're
can't
the
cook.
one that's
I
not
can't
the 5-star chef in the family.
Oh, I'm not. I am a connoisseur. I am not a cook. I'm
So-
not a
so
chef.
you're
I am a
the-
connoisseur.
So you're the
of
one
food.
that. So you're the one that's when you're sitting on your phone and your mom's like, "Here, come try this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
Feel that.
Pretty much.
All right, and so for number 3, pretty simple: corn chips and queso. I think depending on where you get your queso from, queso can be a very, very good option. Queso, like a 3-cheese, 4-cheese queso, could be really good. Also, depending on if you have like stomach problems, of course, because some people don't like cheese like
A
that.
3-cheese, 4-cheese queso.
3-cheese or 4-cheese. Some have multiple different kinds.
You know what that sounds like? A charcuterie board.
Oh my god, y'all are.
A charcuterie board.
I totally forgot about the charcuterie board.
I don't like y'all. Let me
A
get through my. Let me
charcuterie board
get.
of
Let me through.
queso
Let me
and
get through my. Let me get through my list.
It's not even your list.
It is.
It's
it's a
kitchen.com
list.
or whatever
It's
they're
kitchen.
called.
Okay, whatever. Fine. So we got blue chips, blue corn chips, and salsa. I don't know about y'all. I'm not a big fan of the colored chips section of the chip world, but
I mean, you can't go wrong with classic tortilla, but
I'm a
I
little-
am a fan
a
of
little
the blue,
surprised the
Same.
salsa's all the way down here though. But
blue chip. I don't know. Everyone has their own taste. So
maybe no one's having good salsa.
fair point.
Have y'all ever had hummus?
Yes.
Yes, bro.
I've actually never had hummus.
Good.
You're
It
killing me,
looks
Smalls.
disgusting, but I'll try it.
You're
'cause
killing
I'll
me.
try it.
You've never really fully developed into March Madness. You've never tried hummus. Like, who is this guy we're doing a podcast
Hey,
with?
look, I am
He's a Texas
a
baseball
young
fan.
I am a young adult.
That's all we know.
I'm a young adult living in this world. Okay, and then so for the last one we have
You just turned 19.
I'm still a young adult living in this world. Pita chips with hummus.
Yes, those
So,
are good. I've
yeah.
actually had those. Those are
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's. I mean, hummus is just solid, just period. So
Yeah.
whatever you pair it with, it's gotta
Should
be
taste good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do a little something different for the National Day today, but an honorable mention, because we are big food connoisseurs on this podcast. An honorable mention is it is also National Puppy Day.
National
So,
Puppy Day.
You know, of course, we can't bring like dogs in studio or anything.
Shout out to the
but-
dogs, though.
I got a puppy at home. Could have talked about him. But
I mean, I don't really know if I would consider mine a puppy anymore. She's like
don't know mine.
basically
Which one?
a dog.
Which one?
Mine, Bella.
Bella? Yeah, okay. I see that.
You've seen, because I showed you my dog.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big boy, but he's still technically like 2.
Oh, your golden retriever?
Mhm.
What's considered
Yeah.
a puppy? Isn't it under 2 years of?
Is it under 2, under 3?
I think it's under 2
Okay. Well,
because mine's almost 2.
Your dog is funny.
Yeah.
Cullen, your dog is hilarious.
my dog shows emotion more than any other dog I think I've ever seen in my life. And I have many people that can vouch on that.
Let's play with the ball.
Yeah.
Ball time.
So
Ball? Spot? Oh my God.
Right. Spot. Oh, my
Oh.
God. With that red light
Yep.
on the floor. Oh, my goodness.
He goes crazy for that.
It's hilarious.
So now that we can calm down those, we can jump into what we're really here for, some sports. But before we jump into college basketball for the first segment of the podcast, we actually got some big news, not only in the NBA. It mainly affects the NBA as of right now, but we got some big news in sports. As of Thursday, they will, well, I say they, New York will not require players to be vaccinated to play at home. This means the Brooklyn Nets can have Kyrie Irving play at home, and the Yankees and other
Mets.
Yeah, the Mets. Other, they will not have to be required to play. Not be required to have the vaccine to play at home. So this makes a huge tide change in the NBA. Maybe, maybe not, but it's happened.
It's one of those things. The timing is just very interesting. Like why they're choosing to
Do it now.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's got to question me, because I mean we've seen what the other states have done and then kind of how they've gotten into the swing of things.
Yeah.
We're not here to debate whether that's right or wrong or anything based on that decision, but it's just odd timing to me. That's the only thing
I
I'll
don't
say
think
about
it's
that.
the most important thing going on right now to address, but it's been addressed. It's been, I guess, taken care of, if you want to say. But I know there was a lot of arguments and I guess we could say, clashing between a lot of people on this whole matter. After what KD said, and then I can't remember who commented on what KD said. I want to say it was
someone.
Yeah, it was somebody on like NBA TV, but I don't want to say a name and be wrong. But yeah, so that whole thing happened, and so it's like, woo. So I guess we don't have to deal with that anymore, and we'll see if the Nets can actually
and now it's
string together a pair of wins or something.
And now it's gonna be Kyrie and KD playing every game now. Oh, that's not right. That's not fair.
Yeah, we'll finally see the Nets' true full potential.
Yeah,
maybe if Ben Simmons can get back after a
injury.
That's right.
That is true.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Still got a few missing pieces on that whole thing.
Still think they won the trade on that one?
I do. Did you not see them play? I know we didn't mention it on the podcast.
We didn't. We had to take a weather hiatus, but we're going to be talking some NBA later. We're going to talk about that for sure.
But they did beat the
Grizzlies
76ers.
just beat the Nets, so hopefully that win streak can start soon for the Nets.
I mean, that's the Grizzlies too.
Yeah. Little revenge game.
Ja just said bye-bye.
Facts.
Well, let's jump into, I would probably say the most popular of things going on right now, other than the NFL probably, because the NFL is the reigning king. NFL never takes a day off, but we'll get to that later. Boys, we are in the Sweet 16.
Oh, yeah.
We're here.
So sweet. Sweet 16.
It's sweet, but it might be sour for some.
Yeah,
so many comebacks, close games, upsets, and brackets demolished.
Man, shout out to Doug though, bro.
Doug,
shout out to Doug.
It's Doug Edert, I believe.
Edert.
Yeah.
So because you originally said Edert, I think.
I think I did say Edert, but I believe it is Edert.
Okay.
So if he's listening, I apologize.
Why would he not be? This is the Fools on Stools podcast.
Man, Doug is a baller, bro. Oh my gosh.
Goodness,
got
man.
An NIL deal from Buffalo Wild Wings. This man's balling now.
Money.
As I'm trying to tell y'all, there's always Cinderellas when it comes to March Madness. You always just kind of have to sit there and figure out. And lo and behold, we have 3 double-digit teams in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big if anyone listened to the last episode, I'm not real big on the history of the March Madness, but there can't be very many of that happening in the Sweet 16. Multiple double-digit.
I mean,
rankings.
It's happened before where there's been multiple double-digit teams in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
It's even rarer, obviously, the more rounds you go into, obviously.
Right,
and
of course.
Given the fact that 2 of them are playing each other in the Sweet 16, it's going to come down to, at most 2 after the, round.
I mean, but some of these aren't even Cinderellas, though. Like Michigan, you're going to say Michigan's a Cinderella? You're going to say Miami?
I would say Michigan is a Cinderella only.
Oh, excuse me. There's 4.
So I wouldn't say...
I miscounted.
I wouldn't say Michigan is a Cinderella. What I would say is they are an unexpected team because going into it, they had
a losing streak.
Well, not only did they have the losing streak, but didn't they have the worst record out of all 68 teams?
Yeah, they were 17-11, I think, heading into the tournament.
So they weren't on par to be great. And so everybody was like, Michigan doesn't deserve the spot, to play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've obviously proven everybody wrong in that aspect. So
yeah, no, I think
I wouldn't call them a Cinderella because it is Michigan.
Well, we talked about Juwan Howard whenever the incident happened with him and the I believe it was the Wisconsin
Yes.
coach.
Game. Yep.
And the assistant and everything. And we were down on him that day because obviously you have to be the adult in the situation. Well, Juwan has handled that, suspension and everything. He took a suspension, and ever since then, I mean, Michigan has been on a tear in this NCAA tournament, winning 2 games not only against Tennessee but Colorado State. They are now scheduled to face Jay Wright and Villanova. That's going to be no easy task.
Yeah.
But I want to give credit to Juwan Howard because, it takes a true great coach to rally, especially with the adversity that Michigan's gone through. And they're not going to make it easy on Villanova in this game coming up. And I think it's going to be very important that Juwan keeps whatever he's really doing with that defense and just honestly keeping the ball movement, allowing others to thrive and score, and really just kind of spearhead this Michigan team into this matchup against Villanova.
Yeah, I agree. So before we jump on to the next topic of this, before we start talking about women's college basketball, because there's a lot of juicy stuff going on over there, Do y'all want to make a quick prediction on who we think will move on from the Sweet 16?
We can, yeah.
We don't got to do like elite, like we don't got to do who we think will win the Elite Eight and everything like that. Just because it does start tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I think we should.
Listen, I got the bracket pulled up.
Give the listeners our.
I can go through all 8 matchups if you want.
Let's see them.
Okay, Gonzaga, Arkansas.
It's gonna be a tough out.
We got to make these quick though. Remember?
I know, man, but it's just like every single team that's supposed to be so dominant has been, up against the ropes. But I mean, I'm sticking with Gonzaga all the way.
Same.
Yeah, respect Arkansas, but I think it's Gonzaga. My personal favorite Sweet 16 matchup: the Duke Blue Devils versus Texas Tech Red Raiders.
This is such a good matchup. I love this matchup because it's kind of like a matchup that nobody really would have panned out to see, I guess, midway through the college basketball season. But I love this matchup. I'm gonna take Tech. I'm taking Tech.
You're taking Texas Tech.
I'm gonna put my faith in Texas Tech.
Well, crazy because I agree with them. Texas Tech
So if
denies
they let
Coach
me-
K
so
his
if-
100th postseason victory.
So-
Texas Tech moves on.
So if they
calling
lose, then Andrew, I'm coming after you.
Shout out to Andrew Maloney,
You know
fellow
where I'm going. I'm always going Duke Blue Devils.
F1
always.
analyst on the podcast. Anyway, moving on to the next matchup. We've got the North Carolina Tar Heels for Anthony going up against the UCLA Bruins.
Man, I mean, I know everybody's on UCLA because it's the second straight Sweet 16 appearance, and they've come from a lot. No one really expected them to do a whole bunch. But this is UNC we're talking about. I mean, they took care of Baylor, and I know everybody's like, Baylor's not. A lot of people were saying, hey, Baylor's not really a 1 seed. They really shouldn't be the 1 seed, but they are. They were. They took them down.
Can I get a little credit?
You did.
Yeah.
Can I get a
did.
little
Yeah.
credit? No, I just wanted it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Can I get a little credit on the podcast?
Yeah. We'll
I called it. Baylor was going to be the first number
give you
1
some.
seed.
We'll give you
Little
some
snaps,
golf.
get a little
claps.
snaps,
Some
okay?
golf claps.
Listen, we reward whenever we're correct on here, so I just wanted to give my little props.
No, I'll give it to you. But I'm taking UNC in this matchup, North Carolina.
You already know where I'm going. I
Yeah.
don't know how to say it.
Listen, I think it's going to be a clean sweep here. I really don't think UCLA's got a shot. I think North Carolina's going to advance. Which moves us on to another matchup. Our boy Doug and St. Peter's
Yes,
Dougie
sir.
Eddert.
going up against Purdue.
Hey, man,
Man,
look,
Purdue is no joke.
look, man. St. Peter's, they got the boys from New York,
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
They can ball,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't give a darn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with St. Peter's.
Wow, that's a big one.
That is a big
I
one.
mean, I'm not gonna. Obviously, we are in the Sweet 16 of the March Madness, so really at this point, anything is possible. I would say things kind of start squaring off around Elite 8, but man, Purdue is just real good. And after seeing how they took care of Texas, I'm not saying Texas has been great. I think if people have been listening, they've known my opinion on Texas is that you're just way too inconsistent. But they did take care of Texas, and Texas put up a decent fight. But man, that kid they got in, that baller they got, Jaden Ivey.
Mhm.
I'm taking Purdue.
Yeah, I think this is the end for St. Peter's. Sorry, Doug. I'm going with Purdue on this one. So I agree with
All right.
Kevin on this one. Next, we've got one of the few remaining number 1 overall seeds,
Yeah,
Arizona taking on Houston.
I'm taking Arizona.
Yeah, I'm taking Arizona.
But I do think the Houston will put up a fight.
Yeah, I think Houston will make it competitive, but I agree. I'm taking Arizona.
Yeah, they beat Illinois like 68-53. And
Yeah.
so I'm not saying they blew them out of the water, but it was a good contested fight. So,
Right.
and I mean, Arizona just makes sense. I mean, they almost lost to TCU. That was a good game too.
Mhm.
You know what TCU really did?
TCU got
They
robbed.
Yeah,
yeah,
they
they
did.
did good.
They did good.
There were some calls down the stretch. If they would have went TCU's way, TCU
I mean, we
would have
kind of. I don't want to say we called it, but we did like note that hey, TCU went. Like, they got on fire really late, and
Yeah, they
so
did.
we
Yeah.
kind of said like, hey, TCU could take care of a team or two. TCU did pretty good this year. But
Yeah. But
I'm
now
going
we've got the aforementioned Michigan against Villanova.
That's gonna be a
versus
tight
11.
one.
it's gonna be Nova though.
That's gonna be tight.
I mean, like I said, it's Michigan. So what are they ranked? 11th.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see Michigan as an 11th seed, if that makes any sense. Because it's Michigan, they have the basketball experience, they have Juwan Howard, they have ballers. I don't see Michigan as an 11th seed. They've made it this far, they've done this good. They're not an 11th seed in my opinion. I do think Villanova wins, but there's also a very strong possibility that Michigan could make this hell for Villanova, and they could win. I mean, I do think it could be a toss-up, but I'm taking Nova.
I'm about to say, no coulda, shoulda, wouldas here. It's either you win or you don't.
True.
That's true.
It's win or go home in March Madness, and I'm taking the team that has won by double digits in its first 2 matchups. I'm taking Villanova and Jay Wright.
Yeah, they haven't really left any questions on the table out of all the top seeds.
Anthony?
I'm going Michigan.
You're going Michigan.
I'm going Michigan.
I kind of feel like
He's
opposite
a little
thing
bit
going on here.
A little bit.
You know, Juwan Howard, Anthony's
feeling the upset. You know what?
Hey,
I respect
you know
it.
what? Hey.
All right.
Well, yeah.
We've got the Kansas Jayhawks going up against Providence.
Kansas.
Yeah, I'm going Kansas too.
Big 12. So
Kansas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the final Sweet 16 matchup, we've got Iowa State going up against the U.
This is honestly my favorite. Okay, I'm not going to say my favorite matchup because Duke Tech is, but this is really high up there. I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm taking Miami in this one.
I'm taking Miami too, especially with Jim, that head coach. I mean, he's one of the best coaches out there, and the way they played against Auburn was phenomenal. I mean, they played great basketball. I thought Auburn was going to take it, but I mean, you have 2 phenomenal head coaches for Miami and Auburn, and Miami just pulled it out, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to beat Iowa State as well.
Yeah.
I'm going with Iowa State. I'm going with the Cyclones on this one. I really just think I like their fight. I like their spirit. I think they're one of those battle-tested Big 12 teams, and I think they're going to show out. I'm going with the Cyclones.
All right, makes sense. Well, all right. Well, now we made those picks. Boys, it's a sad day. It's a sad day.
It is. It really is.
It's a sad day.
Caitlin Clark is no longer in the tournament.
So sad.
She will probably win the Naismith Award.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that is pending. That's not for sure as of now, but she is a finalist for that award and very deserving.
Can you name who you think's number 2? Exactly. Exactly.
I know she plays for. I actually do know So there's 3 that I know. There's 2 from Iowa, which one of them is Caitlin Clark, and then the other one is from South Carolina.
Yeah.
I just don't obviously know their
No,
name.
I'm just the point that you had to sit there and think about it just goes to show how far ahead.
Oh,
Caitlin
I thought you
Clark.
were trying to prove something. Like I'm like.
No, I was just saying that Caitlin Clark is. I mean, we've talked about her. I think more than any other women's college basketball player since we've started this podcast, and well deserved.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She had an absolute showing. Unfortunately, number 2 Iowa did fall to number 10 Creighton, 64-62.
That
What a
pesky
game.
little Creighton. Pesky Creighton, bro.
The Blue Jays.
No, not even that. Also, Creighton has an Iowa transfer also. And that was huge for that team because
Wow.
I don't remember her name, but she kind of knew the scheme of how Iowa was going to play, and being a transfer from Iowa to Creighton, oh my gosh.
So-
it was like,
So
whoa.
they had a little
They had a little insight.
insider.
Oh, yeah.
Insider information.
Oh yeah, for
That's
sure.
always helpful.
Okay.
That's always very helpful.
Especially when you play with Caitlin Clark.
Trust
Yeah, I
me,
know.
in our
One year.
industry, we understand how inside information, how important it is.
Hey
So,
man,
Yeah,
that's true.
it sucks, but hey,
yeah.
Texas moves on. Texas moves on. I got Texas women winning the whole thing.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Over South Carolina.
Yeah, I don't remember my exact bracket, but part just because Texas fandom and two because Texas women's is playing really
I mean,
good.
we'll see if they get by Stanford.
That is
Yeah.
gonna be a tough matchup.
Over the Haley Jones Stanford team.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough matchup, but hey,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. So I hate to hit y'all with double back-to-back breaking heart news, but North Texas is also out.
Okay, it was a close game. The
It
fact
was
that they
an
only lost by
amazing
like 2
game.
points and Tyler Perry was able to get that 3 off and just didn't go in.
I mean, you have
Come
to
on.
take into accountability. North Texas played Virginia. Virginia won the national championship in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm not trying to be that guy that's like, oh, you know, X and X beat a team that won this high award like 50 years ago, so that
Yeah.
they need to get, you know, paired up and deserve credit. I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying, you know, Virginia did still have some players on their roster from that championship run. And Virginia is known to be, I don't want to say a basketball school, but they're known to be successful in the past in basketball, in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very excited for North Texas on this one, and I thought they put up a great fight. sucks, man.
And
Sucks.
they did beat Duke. Like, Virginia did beat Duke, too.
Yeah.
So
No, I
it's
mean,
like,
listen, it's
So basically, what we're saying is North Texas is better than Duke. So
I never said that.
stamp it,
I'm,
approve it.
Hey, look, I love North Texas, but I will always be a Duke Blue Devil or a Tar Heel. Always. But
That
the
still
interesting,
blows.
Well, I'm very thankful that you did not go all the way over there when
Yeah.
you came here.
It blows my mind that you're half Tar Heel and half Blue Devil. Like, that still blows my mind.
Yeah, I'm
It's
pretty
very
sure
interesting.
that like somewhere in the laws that's illegal.
It is. The interesting thing about the games that they played against Virginia, and I actually think UNC played their best basketball against Virginia. Like, they played perfect.
Mhm.
Only thing that didn't happen is they didn't get the dub.
Right.
The interesting thing was they shot a worse percentage from free throw line. They shot 55% from free throw line against Texas State and won, and they shot a better free throw percentage against Virginia and lost. And I was
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
Because free throws were not the name of the game. They actually, North Texas has not had to have a lot of overtime experience this year.
true.
I believe their first overtime game was actually against Texas State.
No, because they had one against, was it Louisiana Tech? I thought.
Was
I
that
think so.
Was that an overtime game?
I believe so.
Okay, so but regardless, they have not had a lot of overtime experience.
Right.
I think not having Reuben Jones going into this game was a huge
Yeah.
deficit.
That was big.
We've already talked about how North Texas is 7-man deep. Now you're 6-man deep. Tyler Perry gets his first start of the season.
Yeah.
The name of the game was threes
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
true.
defense. North Texas is known for their perimeter defense, and they just couldn't hold off in overtime.
Yeah.
They tried to fight it with the points, and they just came up so short.
Yeah. It ultimately, listen, this team,
Nothing to be ashamed of, though.
nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, obviously, one of, if not the best seasons in UNT program history.
I would
Again,
say it is.
I mean, like, ultimately, the one winning the tournament game in the NCAA tournament last year, that one's up there too. But, like, in terms of just consistency from start to all the way to the finish, I mean, they battled their hearts out. They really proved that they belonged as one of the top teams in the country going up against that Virginia squad. And, yeah, it's just a shame that they're out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have some news that I got from my director at Sports Zone yesterday about McCaslin. It's not going to be pretty.
Why do you think that?
It's not great.
He's not leaving.
Okay.
He's not leaving.
Okay.
I've checked multiple sources, and I know all the people to know, and he's not leaving.
Okay.
All the close sources are saying that he's not even close to leaving North Texas.
So he doesn't have a top offer at SMU?
Oh, he probably has an offer from SMU for
Because he
sure.
definitely does.
He probably does. I mean, SMU would be an idiot not to send him an offer, but he doesn't sound like anybody that I've checked in with or talked to has said he does not have any interest in going to SMU. He wants to stay at North Texas and continue what he's started.
Listen,
Okay,
I
hey.
don't have any connections. All I'm saying is that we obviously hope Grant stays here. And I hope,
Please, Grant. McCaslin era needs to stay.
yeah, and I just listen. Knocking on wood, doing whatever we got to do here at the studio. Wear our green, a lucky green.
In the words of Brandon Mean, I will trade myself.
We're gonna be talking about that later.
I will trade myself before we get rid of Grant McCaslin.
Hey, man, money talks.
I get the
Money
money
talks.
talks, but so
Yeah.
does loyalty, and I think Grant McCaslin is a very loyal coach.
That's true, but money talks too.
Well, I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But I will say, SMU, you can take Grant McCaslin. We'll keep Grant, please.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
And guess who got his money? Guess who got his money?
Who?
Blockbuster, buddy.
Oh, man.
Blockbuster.
Oh, man. It's a Dolphin now.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
We're switching over.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
We're
He
going
got
there.
his money.
Oh,
Did he?
the
Ooh,
cheetah.
doggy.
Cheetah.
No longer the chief.
Do you want me to explain the details of the trade, or do you want to introduce it?
Go ahead, Statman.
The Miami Dolphins acquire Tyreek Hill from the
Mm.
Kansas City Chiefs, former Pro Bowler, former All-Pro Tyreek Hill,
Mm.
in exchange for 5 total draft picks.
Mm.
I want to remind people that that's quarterback level.
That's quarterback worthy.
That's
for sure.
quarterback worthy deal that he's getting back, including a first-round pick, obviously some mid-rounders as well. This is the number 29 overall pick in this year's draft, along with a second and 4th rounder, and then a 4th and a 6th in 2023. Just wanted to point out the Jets also were in the mix here.
Yes.
They offered one, but not both of their first-round picks because they could have had Tyreek. They had more draft capital than the Dolphins to unload, but they just weren't able to really fully go in as much as the Dolphins were, and they do get Tyreek Hill. And not only do they trade for Tyreek Hill, they sign him to a 4-year extension worth $120 million, $72.2 million guaranteed, making him the highest-paid wide receiver in the NFL, one of the NFL's highest-paid wide receivers. Guys, what is y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, and that's a lot better than what the Raiders gave Devontae Adams last week, which was a 5-year, $28.5 million per season.
Which, if you're the Raiders, you're like, woo. That was a close one.
For real. I think it's going to be great for Hill. To get, he got his money.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, he did get his money. Kansas City offered him a contract, but whenever he told them that he wanted to be the highest paid, they just, no, we don't work like that.
I mean, listen, they're already paying Patrick. They're
no,
already paying Kelsey.
The Chiefs are all about building championship rosters, and building championship rosters means guys have to take pay cuts.
Yep.
A little bit.
And obviously Tyreek was not willing to take a pay cut this time around, and I mean I completely understand it. He is a top.
He took a pay cut on his first deal.
Yeah,
he did.
So I mean, arguably Tyreek is probably a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. So get your money, and you know what? Despite all the jokes and all the memes of Tua Tagovailoa to be your quarterback, I'm happy with it. I think it'll work out. I think, and me and Cullen talked about this off air. It doesn't give Tua any more excuses. You have to have a good season. If not, your time is done in Miami.
That's true.
You have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and
not only so
multiple.
They also signed star left tackle Teron Armstead away from the Saints, 5 years, $75 million earlier this week.
It was a big deal.
So think about it if you're Tua, right? Or Tuna, as he's known on some NFL circles.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Listen, in terms of your weapons, they just signed Raheem Mostert. They still have Myles Gaskin. They have
Mike Gesicki.
They tagged Mike Gesicki. They signed now Tyreek Hill to an extension. They have Jalen Waddle. They got Cedric Wilson, who's a wide receiver formerly of the Cowboys, to a 3-year, $22.8 million deal. And there's just so many more options now. I mean, like that offense with Mike McDaniel now as your head coach, that offensive mind coming over from San Francisco.
If I'm Miami, I am very happy with what is going on.
Tua
They are
Tagovailoa.
all in.
You have no excuse now. And they did bring in Teddy Bridgewater, so he's going to have some competition.
Oh, man. They brought in Teddy, too?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. No, the Dolphins were not playing around.
They better make the playoffs.
You know what Mike McDaniel said? He said, F them picks. He said, we won a Super Bowl. He said, F them picks.
We'll see.
And I think that's becoming a trend in the NFL.
Yeah, and I think that might be copyrighted by Les Snead, but we'll check back with you on that one.
I mean, the things that are happening this season, this offseason is ridiculous. Everyone's getting their money, which is great. But my question for both of you is, who's going to miss who more? Miss Tyreek, or is Tyreek going to miss Pat more?
Patrick's not going to miss Tyreek at all.
Yeah, that was.
He's still got wide receivers.
I mean, so they still got Kelsey, which is the best, arguably tight end, in the league. They just signed Juju Smith-Schuster. They still have McCole Hardman. They're rumored to bring in MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling from Green Bay. Are those wide receivers at the level of Tyreek? No, but it's not like he's like sitting there not throwing to nobodies.
Yeah, that's true.
He has like multiple. It's like quantity over quality kind of thing, but they all hold very good quality. They are all very good receivers.
Not to mention, I mean, who says they don't go out and sign a Odell Beckham Jr. or a Julio Jones, or maybe even draft one of these rookie wide receivers in the upcoming draft? The possibilities,
possible, yeah,
all very well possible. And again, are they going to be Tyreek Hill? No, but at the same time, you're sitting there and you're like, listen, we got to spread this money around. We got to make this team as best as we can because. We couldn't defeat Joe Burrow and those Bengals in the AFC Championship game. We got to reload this roster.
That is so true. And Andy Reid is not just going to sit there and be like, oh, we lost Tyreek Hill. Well, I guess we're screwed. No, we got to revamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of revamp, Matt Ryan is now a Indianapolis Colt. And to follow that up, Marcus Mariota took absolutely no time finding his way into Atlanta to be a Falcon, but my question to y'all is, where the hell is Baker Mayfield going to play?
That's a great
I've
question.
heard some ideas.
Yep, there have been some. So, in terms of Matt Ryan, he went to Indy for a third-round pick in 2022.
An absolute steal for the Colts, I might add.
It's a very, very good price for Matt Ryan. And then Marcus Mariota inking a 2-year contract with the Atlanta Falcons, formerly of the Las Vegas Raiders. Listen, I'm just going to come out right here and say it. Still is a possibility for Baker.
Uh-oh.
How sad does that make you?
Well, let me get through in the details.
Okay. All right.
So, Seattle is a possibility. They have said from multiple reports that they'd be doing it for the right price. Up until today, it was believed that Cleveland wanted a first for Baker. Now they since came out today and said that it's not a first-round pick for Baker. I don't think a first-round pick is worthy of Baker, in my personal opinion. But listen, it's either potentially going to Seattle, which again, Seattle might just be sitting there in either A, roll with Drew Lock and seeing what he's got, maybe taking one of these quarterbacks because they do have the 9th overall pick. But Baker is an option for Seattle. In terms of other ones that could be out there, listen, Pittsburgh said they're interested if Cleveland releases him. Pittsburgh has come out and said that they're interested in Baker.
And Baker may.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Look, Tom was going to.
But you got to think about it.
Boy.
Pittsburgh is not really in a position to draft a quarterback.
No. Well, I mean, in the 20th overall pick, if they want to trade up future capital, they may be able to trade up there.
And how
but at their current position, no.
And how comfortable are you really with Mitchell Trubisky as basically your starting quarterback? Because other than Mitchell Trubisky, you have Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph, which
I tried to tell you all, I think, what was it, the last podcast or 2 podcasts ago? Their quarterback room is so just average.
It's
like
very
at best.
I mean,
It's
average.
so
I mean,
best.
to say that
it is.
Mitchell Trubisky is the best quarterback in the room is.
Which are we sure? Like, I'm not even sure if he is the best quarterback out of him, Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins.
We don't know what Dwayne Haskins is.
Yes, we don't know.
That's true.
We don't know. And again,
I like Dwayne Haskins.
now if Baker were to get in there, I would give the nod to Baker. But look, there's a lot of possibilities. That some people have even floated the idea of, hey, listen, the former Browns management position works in Detroit now. Are they happy with Jared Goff?
Oh, hell no. There's no way.
Maybe Baker, they find some way to get Baker over there. He might be, willing to bite off some kneecaps, as the head coach is known to say over there over time. So there are some possibilities. My guess is the closer we get to draft time, the less, and once we get to the draft to me is the last chance Baker can get moved. Because once the draft happens, obviously all those rookie quarterbacks go to those teams, and teams really have an idea of what they're doing with the future. If the draft comes and goes and Baker is not with a new team, I believe it is very likely he will get released and could be a potential open market quarterback for whichever team wants to go out there and have Baker in their quarterback room.
He'll live the Cam Newton lifestyle.
So do you think, is Baker Mayfield a starter still or no?
I believe he's a starter, yes.
I believe he has potential to prove that he can be a starter.
But like when you're sitting there as an NFL team and you're trying to sell your fan base on this guy, because Baker's still on his rookie contract. He's still a young guy.
Yeah.
You're trying to sell them on what Baker can bring you to the team. But if you're looking at it logistically, like, yeah, Baker can sit there and he can win some games and he can, really run an offense and everything. But does Baker have that true elite talent? I think the Browns really sat there and looked at it, and they saw Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson now
that AFC
become available. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I didn't even mention him.
I mean, name more.
I mean, yeah, seriously.
Right.
Like so many quarterbacks now that you could argue are way above Baker Mayfield's class. And they're sitting there like, we've got a roster that's really well built in our division.
Yeah.
Like we're at best the third quarterback in our own division.
That's true.
So
That's true.
It made sense for them to go get Deshaun Watson. And
on a football standpoint, of course.
But can Baker Mayfield start in this league? Sure. I just don't think he has the longest future out there because I just don't think he has the upside that so many other quarterbacks do.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Baker did win their first, Cleveland's first game as a rookie, which is a great honor because, Cleveland hasn't won a game in years.
It's been 20 plus years since they won a playoff game.
Yeah. And I think that I think his time after he put out that letter, you knew his time was up.
Yeah.
Like it was eerie. Like it was like, yeah, we don't think you're gonna stay with the Browns, and obviously he's not. I just don't know what team he's gonna stick to. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And if he's gonna perform, I mean, I think Deshaun Watson, great for him to go to the Browns. And I heard that it is rumored that Odell might want to go back to Cleveland with Deshaun. I think that would be a great matchup, honestly, for them.
Crazy what happens when you get a good quarterback somewhere.
Hey, man, look, people want to come. People want to follow you and follow your lead.
Because people, want to sit there and be like, oh, the NFL stars, they just want to go to LA. They just want to go to Miami. They want to go to these beach cities. Listen, you got a good quarterback, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can convince anybody to go anywhere. I mean, listen, Devontae Adams was playing in Green Bay not too long ago. I mean, like I said, Odell's looking to go back to Cleveland. Last time I checked, those aren't the best cities to go party and live a long
I was going to say, Tyreek Hill went to Miami. Oh, wait.
Well,
we'll see.
That was
We'll
a
see.
little different.
We'll see how that one goes.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
But Waddle and Tyreek Hill, two of the fastest wide receivers out there.
Yeah.
Literally on the same. That's going to be amazing.
Two has no excuse.
Yeah, so we're talking all these quarterbacks, and we're talking about, Baker Mayfield possibly floating in that, quarterback available roster spot, maybe where Jimmy G could find himself. That's a whole situation over there. But let's talk about quarterbacks that aren't in the league yet. Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis have had their pro days, and I don't know if y'all have watched them, but Malik Willis, I think, has overtaken the spot as the number 1 overall quarterback in this draft.
For sure.
QB1.
Oh, yeah.
Malik Willis.
Oh, yeah.
He has... That ball was on the back foot.
Yeah. The one thing I want to say about this, and it's a little tangent, but it does have something to do with the subject. Mel Kiper, I don't know if y'all saw this, released his latest mock draft. I want to say it was either today or yesterday that he released it. I'm not sure on the time. He had Malik Willis dropping all the way to number 20.
Nope.
To the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That'd be great. I would love that,
understand.
though.
I understand the fit, and I understand that they do need a quarterback, and that he'd be a great fit in Mike Tomlin's system. However, I will go out on I'll go out on a limb right here on the Fools on Stools podcast and say, as of this moment, Malik Willis is not slipping past Carolina at number 6. If Pittsburgh Steelers want to go get Malik Willis, they are going to need to make a trade because he is not falling to them at pick 20.
No.
Plain and simple.
This is not a New England's gonna get lucky and get Mac Jones situation. There is 3 quarterbacks possible for the first round, and Malik Willis is the top of those.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get lucky at 20. It's not gonna happen unless they make it happen.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's what's interesting about this draft is that Malik Willis now taking over that spot as the number 1 in the quarterback conversation, at least. He's not going to go over number 1 overall or anything, but you don't know who he's going to go to. And I think that makes it very interesting for the draft because a lot of teams were at both scouting combines or about both pro days.
Yeah.
Teams like, Detroit, teams like
Carolina, Seattle was there.
Yeah. I mean,
the list goes on.
Even the Commanders were there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of teams that are flocking to these quarterbacks, even though there's a very small selection. And I think these pro days, can tell a lot about a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. What team do you think needs Malik Willis the most?
I mean, here's the thing.
I can name about 5.
Malik Willis. I remember this when Russell Wilson got traded and you guys were, whatever. One of the questions y'all asked me was, who do you want Seattle if they're going to draft a quarterback to draft? And I instantly said Malik Willis. Because I saw this kid who is big, strong, got a heck of an arm, and it seems like a good character guy. Every one of his teammates and coaches raves about him. He seems like a next great franchise quarterback if there is going to be one, because again, nothing's for sure guaranteed,
of course,
in the realm of quarterbacks and everything. So what are you?
There was a spider on your face, so I just had to get it for you.
Oh,
but yeah,
I got
you.
A zoom in on that.
Yeah, there might be an post edit, but
yeah.
Anthony just slapped me in my face, but
hey, they saw it on camera. So.
Yeah, there you go. But listen, getting back to the subject, listen, I would think Malik Willis is the best quarterback. And if you're a team that is sitting there and has any questions about your franchise quarterback, this isn't just quarterbacks that or teams that are just they obviously don't have a quarterback, they're going to draft one. This is for any team that's sitting there and you're like, dude, are we sure about our guy? We're going to have to pay him soon. We really don't know about him. They should all be in the consideration for Malik Willis. But I don't want to just talk about Malik because I know we're going to be spending the majority of the time doing this. Kenny Pickett, the main thing that did come out of his pro day was the fact that he's got bigger hands. So that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Up to what, 8 5/8 now or whatever it was.
I hate that this is a conversation that has to be had.
I hate it. I hate it too.
8.5
It's
inches
like
at the combine.
it's like talking about height in baseball.
Yeah, it's stupid. Listen, but we gotta talk about it, and I get it. It's pro day, so like they're throwing against air. It's not competition. It's not anything. I do believe Kenny Pickett is the most pro-ready quarterback to enter the National Football League. Do I think his ceiling is high as Malik Willis's? No, but I do think Kenny Pickett, especially for a team that's like pro-ready to win, like kind of got a team already built around them, and you just need a quarterback maybe on a cheap contract that you can kind of do stuff with and maybe develop. Kenny Pickett's a heck of a guy for him. For the record, I mentioned the pre-draft mock that Mel Kiper had.
Yeah.
He had Kenny Pickett going actually ahead of Malik Willis, which again, I
don't see happening at this point.
he did, but he was going number 18 overall to the New Orleans Saints.
See, that makes sense though. That
I mean, if the Saints
to me, that makes
find
sense.
themselves in that position, yeah, I don't see it.
If one of these teams, all it takes is one team to fall in love with Kenny Pickett. And listen, is he more likely to fall than Willis? I do believe so.
Yeah.
But again, I don't see him lasting to 18. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
But again, that's
you think the Commander's going to take him at 11?
They could. I mean, like, if you're sitting there and, like, you feel, again, based on what they've seen, if they're like, hey, we see a future in this guy. I know we signed Carson Wentz, but Wentz's deal is not lasting forever. Like, they can eventually.
Wentz ain't all that in a bag of chips.
And it's Carson Wentz. So you have a lot of questions regarding Carson Wentz.
Right. And listen, it's a very real possibility that both these guys go in the top 15. So I just, again, don't be surprised of anything at this point. Listen, Jimmy Garoppolo for the 49ers, they traded, 3 firsts to go up and trade for draft Trey Lance, and Jimmy Garoppolo still started for them. So
yeah, that's true.
Listen, anything could happen come draft night or beforehand, so definitely something to keep your eye on when it comes to both of these quarterbacks.
That's true. I'm still thinking that it would be very interesting if Carolina got Malik Willis. It would be like another Cam Newton situation. Not saying he's a person who can run on the throw or he does a lot of runs, but I think the arm strength is there. Maybe not the accuracy that Cam Newton had, but the arm strength is definitely there also. Because Malik Willis' arm strength is insane. I mean, the way that last throw that he made was ridiculous.
That was insane.
Yeah. And I mean, do they need a quarterback? Yes, they need a quarterback. They may say they have a quarterback. They don't really. I think Malik Willis will be a great fit for Carolina, ultimately.
Yeah. I think that's why they're not interested in Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, because they realize they're kind of in the driver's seat in terms of the quarterbacks, barring what Detroit does, obviously.
Baker who?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. That's a very good point. Now, speaking of driver's seats, thank you for that. Thank you for that little segue there, Cullen. We're going to talk about a little Formula One. I believe I overheard Anthony say he's actually kind of read up on his Formula One. Is this true?
I watched the race.
All right. So
I watched the race. I watched the highlights too.
I like that.
So
we'd love to hear it.
We're going to be talking the race today. So.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Very
Sounds
interesting.
good. So obviously, for those that keep up with Formula One, I think it's very obvious to know that Ferrari is very much so back.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Kevin.
For sure.
Like Ferrari looked like the best car on track.
Yeah, I did.
By a long shot, too.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't want to say long shot.
Okay. That is true.
Because Red Bull
had the little thing.
And Max, do you remember I think it was either lap like 17 or 18 when Charles and Max were fighting for the number 1 seed on consecutive laps?
I think it was 17.
It was 17. Yeah, like they were sitting there and they were battling back and forth.
Yeah,
they
fighting into turn 1, trying to get the run going onto that straightaway.
So I take back my comment on long shot, but Ferrari's power unit is catching eyes quick this year because all 6 cars, I believe we said 6 cars that have the Ferrari power unit, are performing very well this year.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, the Ferrari engine not only runs in obviously Team Ferrari for obvious reasons, they also have teams. The American team Haas runs a Ferrari engine, and also Alfa Romeo.
And also the fact that they got the 1-2 punch. Also, that was
big.
That was huge.
It's real big.
Yeah, it's their first 1-2 since 2019.
Yeah, that's big time. That's a great way to start. Like I said, I watched the whole race. I was like, okay, this is very interesting. I had to take notes and stuff too. I think the interesting thing is that Red Bull didn't give you wings this time, and
it did not.
To me, when I saw it happen, I saw it the first time. I was like, okay, like what's going on? And then it happened again. I think it happened twice, didn't it?
Yes, yeah, it happened.
It happened to both cars.
Happened to Checo, and then it happened to Max.
It happened to Max first, and then it happened to Checo.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then when it happened, you just saw all these other cars go past them over and over and over again. I was like,
yeah, their car's out. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, and it was just
I bet you Christian Horner was not a fun person to be around this week.
Well, listen, and obviously, he would have loved to have finished 2 and 4, where
or at
Checo
least have points.
Very
right,
true.
exactly, because they have the same amount of points as McLaren at this moment. So that's
Do we have to talk about it?
Listen,
we don't gotta. You didn't have to do that.
well, kind of. Listen, the facts were there. I could have said, same as Williams or same as Aston Martin.
Yeah, but you had to say McLaren.
Listen, McLaren's the name that people know.
It is. That's true.
It is
That's
one of those
Ferrari.
things. Listen, hey, you want to hear a little joke?
What's up?
Red Bull crashed like Kevin's Red Bull did here in the studio
That is
today.
so
Like
true.
that's how Red Bull's performance was. It was
Red Bull's performance was like Kevin's Red Bull.
Listen,
Hey, but let's not just hit on Red Bull, because Mercedes isn't looking too hot yet either.
yeah,
I say yet because it's Mercedes,
right.
and that's Lewis Hamilton behind that wheel.
So Toto came out and said it will not be an immediate fix, but they are going to obviously attempt to rectify their pace, because they came out and Mercedes was very, I almost want to say complacent, because they were very like, hey, they were happy to get P3 and P4 with Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, when in previous years we've known Mercedes to be at the front of the field, like fighting for constructors championships, fighting for those drivers championships and everything, and they finished P3 and P4, and they were like happy about it. Like they were lucky. They were
P3, P4, lucky P3, P4.
Yeah.
Toto said it himself. Those are the 5-6 cars on the track unless they can get it fixed.
Absolutely. And if you watch the race before Gasly's car literally exploded, Mercedes was running, like I said, they were the head of the midfield, but they were way behind in terms of Red Bull and Ferrari's pace.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were. It was kind of Red Bull, Ferrari, and then it was like, then it was Mercedes.
Yeah, then it was Mercedes. Yep.
So it's like you hope that Mercedes can flip it around and turn it around and do what they need to do to get back to Mercedes level winning. But for right now, I think the most, I would say, based off of one race, which I know I don't want to be the overreaction guy, but it's kind of our job to overreact to things. I would say that
I don't know if it's our job. That might be yours.
Okay,
but.
fine. I'll take that. I would say Haas probably had the most impressive race results of the weekend.
Listen, Haas for years now. It had been since Kevin Magnussen's original time at Haas where they were fighting for the points consistently. We obviously last year, if you watched Formula One, Haas was at the back of the field. They were consistently.
They've been back of the field for a while,
and they just were no signs of showing any slow competition to getting into the midfield and everything. And they come out in this first race. Now, granted, Red Bull did have 2 DNFs, so it kind of skewered the points finishes a little bit. But Kevin Magnussen, P5, and Mick Schumacher, 1 place out of getting points. I mean, listen, Mick's going to have multiple chances on getting his first points finish in F1.
It's Mick Schumacher, for crying out loud. Like,
right.
He's going to figure it out.
Right. And then, Kevin obviously drove the race of his life. Now, he did have a couple of mistakes locking up into turn 1 that may have cost him some extra time, but to get 10 points for Haas.
Yeah, that's big.
Haas is 3rd in the constructors right now.
Yeah.
That is insane for Haas.
I really hope the best for Haas.
They really do. Listen,
I hope they continue this and keep it going.
Listen, I mean, Gunther Steiner is one of the more likable head bosses out there with just his kind of brash style and his openness to saying it how it is. And as the American team, I mean, let's face it, like there is some attachment there to Haas to hopefully do better. So we're all hoping this stuff can continue because Haas, again, was fighting so long in terms of like trying to get back into competition. And if Bahrain was any indication, they're going to be right in the thick of things with a lot of teams. So
yeah, I agree with that. And for Kevin Magnussen to not even be a real scheduled driver for this year and to just come in and fill in the spot for obvious reasons, it's very impressive on his part, I think. So I'm very excited for Haas. I know you said that we're all Haas fans here, but I just like that this Steiner said that Kevin Magnussen can break all the doors that he wants now. He doesn't care. So for those who don't know, you got to go watch Drive to Survive. But whenever Steiner originally released Magnussen, Magnussen shut the door. It was a glass door and completely shattered it. And Steiner was absolutely livid about it. So whenever he won this weekend, he got P5, he said he can smash all the doors that he wants. I don't care.
Yeah, well, he smashed it, as those guys say over there. So
Yeah,
he smashed it.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race in Saudi Arabia this upcoming weekend. It's gonna be hot.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
We're gonna preview it on the next episode on Friday. Make sure you tune in. We might have a special guest for that one, so just tune in and see.
Sir. But let's take it over to baseball before we head out. Carlos Correa signs with the Twins. I know we touched on this a little bit. It's $106 million, 3-year deal. He ain't going to the Astros though. I'll tell you that much. So another shortstop off the market.
Yeah, no, listen, and Correa came out today and said that, he's trying to build a winning culture here in Minnesota, so he's obviously committed to Minnesota and what they're building there. Obviously, Correa was one of the big names that we were looking at in terms of, like, hey, where's he going to go this offseason?
A lot of teams wanted him.
Yeah, and a lot of dominoes fell in between, when free agency originally opened and then when he now eventually signed with Minnesota. So I'm glad he got his money because it is well-deserved. He is one of the better shortstops in baseball, and he got paid like it. So.
I'm excited to see what he can do on not so stacked of a team.
Right. No, I mean, it's arguably his team now.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think he'll be a stud on it, honestly. I mean, like you said, it's his team now, so he's going to be the one who's going to lead the team, basically, especially at shortstop and with his batting percentage, too. So, it's him or anyone else, really, but mostly it's him because he's the star now of the Twins.
Yeah. I mean, former Rookie of the Year,
Yep.
former, obviously, championship of that Astros team that...
he has the resume.
Yeah, he does. So
he's got the resume for it.
We'll see what he can do on his own. So
Yeah, so, but we'll moving on to the next thing. I mean, we're not even trying to show bias, but the Texas Rangers scored 25 runs against the Guardians.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, sir?
25 runs
In a baseball game.
in a baseball game.
In
Now,
a
I get it. It's
baseball game.
it is spring training. I get that. But
Lord have
25
mercy.
runs is insane regardless. And they actually beat, I believe it was the Rockies today, 14 to like, I think it was like 14 to like 2 or 14 to 1 or something like that.
I mean, listen, it is
Seager's
spring
second
training.
home run in the spring training. I'm just saying. For those who want to criticize Seager for being an aggressive hitter, Tyler Luker.
No bias. Anyways.
No bias. But I'm just saying.
Kevin
it's-
wears his emotions on his sleeves.
He does. Whether it's look, anything
I'm guilty
Texas,
for it.
especially baseball.
I'm guilty for
But
it.
25 runs, that's impressive.
27 hits. That's
Yeah,
efficient.
That is.
27 hits turned into 25 runs. Like, are you kidding me?
Hey, so I gotta say it on the podcast because my dad told it to me, and he was like, "I want you to say this on the podcast." He was like, so because I was telling him, I was like, yeah, the Rangers scored 25 runs today. I was like, yeah. He was like, wow, that's crazy. He said, well, I guess they couldn't guard that.
That's good. That's good.
That
like,
is the
that's
most
good.
dad joke.
Oh yeah,
I think
no,
I've
he said
ever
he
That was a
no,
good
yeah,
one.
he said it. He was like, see, you can say it on the podcast. That was a good dad joke.
That was good. That was good.
You know what?
I was like, all right, Dad.
Shout out to your dad, contributor to the show and listener to the show. So
Yeah,
shout out
was
to
a
him
good
for
one.
that one.
Yeah,
I
he'll
guess
get
they
a
couldn't
good,
guard that.
he'll get a good laugh on that one. And then to finish off the MLB topic for now, the Braves are trying to stay cautious with Acuna. Of course, Braves lose Freddie Freeman, bring in Matt Olson, trying to stay relevant in this whole race of championship and everything. But
I mean, yeah, they're
Ronald Acuna, man, is one of those guys for them. So
listen, the fact that they were able to win the championship with him not out there, he's a top 10 player in baseball. I don't think anyone disputes that.
Yeah.
And hopefully he will come back and be as close, if not the whole version of himself before the injury and everything. But he is not going to be playing any spring training game. Baseball, listen, we want to see good baseball players out there, and Ronald Acuna is a good baseball player. So I'm hoping I love the approach that the Braves are taking. We're like, hey, listen, you know what? Take your time, make sure you get 100% or close to it as you possibly can before we roll you out there. I have absolutely no problem with the the Braves doing this.
I mean, he's recovering from a torn ACL.
Right.
You know, I mean, I know it's baseball. I know we're not talking about NBA, but in any sport, I mean, we saw what happened to Kevin Durant. You know,
ACLs are tough.
In any sport, ACLs are one of the hardest and most emotionally, you know, physically, spiritually, hardest injuries to come back from, because you don't know if you're going to be all that in a bag of chips, you don't know if you're going to be the same player you were before.
Yeah, not everyone's Adrian Peterson.
Right. But I think the Braves are doing a great job by just not letting him play any spring ball. You know, I think that he needs to rehab this knee until he's 100%. I don't care about 99. I don't care about 98. 100. You need to be 100% so you can play this game.
Might as well at this point, you know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I can agree on that one. Well, that's going to do it for hour 1 of the podcast. Do come back for hour 2. We got, as always, a juicy Cullen's Corner with a good list, as always. We're going to have a good debate for Anthony's Alley. And then I got a little conversation I want to start over in Kevin's Kickback. So we're awake this time, so don't miss out on hour 2. I promise y'all it's going to be a good one. Peace.